welcome to my channel, Who's Your Outdoor 1969. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. Today I'm going to go over my other mountain bike I have, which as you can see in the frame right now, it's Specialized. This is the Rockhopper Elite 29er. I bought this is 2023. I bought this early last year, or wait, was it last year? Give me a minute. Yeah, right at the end, basically right at the end of COVID, so it'll be early last year. So it took forever to come in because people were still catching up on their shipping and stuff like that. Excuse me. Like I said, I bought this early last year. I liked it so much that I ended up buying a stump jumper to match it. Like I said, this here's their stump jumper, or Rockhopper Elite 29er. The tires that were on it will come on with their Specialized Fast Track. Yeah, if you're planning on running dirt, yeah, no, don't get those. They don't instill confidence. If you're running like paved paths, or gravel roads or something like that, they'd probably be fine. But if you're wanting to actually get out there and get in the dirt, running trails, I would go with the tires I have on here at the moment. Before the Fast Track, which these are their ground control. I got T5 casing but compound on both front and rear. Like I said, they're 29 by 2.35 front and rear. Up until recently, everything that was on here was stock. I just recently changed the crank set. Actually, I went with IFX, which is Chinese. Went from a square taper to a Holotech type. That'd be the second IXF crankset that I've used. I had one on my original bike that if I would have installed properly would have been fine, but when I put it on I didn't get the non-drive side crank arm tightened all the way, so I ended up spinning that off, so it mangled the splines a little bit. But I was able to get it back on and got it clamped down. It's been working fine. Which my friend that bought that from me, I got a replacement crankset for him. We just hadn't had a chance to get around. Like I said, everything on this for the most part is original except for tires. I switched over to these. I just recently replaced the stem. I went from a 60mm stem down to this 35mm, which is a Wake. On my old bike, I ran Wake, which I liked. I don't remember the length of the bars. I'm thinking they're 720. They're still factory length. Everything on the cockpit here, except for the dropper post, is original. Still got the original brakes and brake pads. It's a 180 rotor on the front and a 160 on the rear. It's an 11-speed Shimano drivetrain, which, excuse me, getting old. That's their Dior derailleur. Like I said, that's the crankset. Went from a 30-tooth chainring to a 32-tooth chainring. Doesn't seem to make a difference on pedaling or anything like that. The little bag I have here in my frame rail, I got that at Walmart. That way I got a place to put my wallet, my phone, and my keys, so I didn't have to try and stuff those in my pocket. Just a cheap bottle cage from the same place. Dropper post. It didn't come with one from the factory. I still have the quick release on there because I never did change that. But the dropper post is a Transx Fusion, which is what's on my stump jumper. Internal cable routing for both dropper and shifter. And is it rear brake also? Give me a second. Let me look. Nope. Partial rear. Internal for the rear. It comes out. Rear brake comes out down here on the bottom underneath the crank. I'm trying something different, so I don't know how well this is going to come out. I'm using an actual camcorder this time instead of my phone like I normally use. RockShox Judy front fork, 100mm travel. So far I haven't had any issues out of that, but then again I haven't had anything super crazy or anything like that. I just general trail riding. The strap with my tube there, I actually have a multi-tool wrapped up in my tube. The strap I got off of Amazon. I'll have to look it up because I can't remember the name of it. But I'll put a link in the description. Let's see, what else do I have on here? Oh yeah, pedals. I got off of Amazon also. or ANS or something like that. Anyways, they're Chinese. I had this out not too long ago, just Friday last week, if I remember right. Feet stayed planted to the pedals, so that's always a plus. Let's see. I think my next upgrades that I'm going to do to it, though, I'm actually going to get rid of the ground control tires and put the same type tires that I have on my stump jumper, which are the Butcher and Purgatories. And I may end up going a little wider. I haven't decided on that yet. The saddle on here is what came from the factory. See the little specialized S there. And my little chunk when I got pinned between this and the ground in a tree. Went to go between two trees and got hung up on a root because I wasn't going quite fast enough, which caused my front end to fold under on me, and over I went. That didn't feel good. Let's see, what else do I have on here? The chain's still stock. I haven't had any need to change it. I know on the bottle cage I got a fidlock on my stump jumper. I'm pretty sure I'm going to switch this over to a fidlock also. All I need is the base, because I don't need another bottle. Which actually that's a system I do like and I do suggest. It's held in place by magnets, and you twist, depending on how you put the base on, you either twist to the right or twist to the left for it to come out. And then when you go to put it back in, you just get it lined up with the little pegs, and you actually can hear it and feel it seat itself. If you try and pull it straight off, it's not going to come off. I mean, I imagine if you pull hard enough, you can get it to come off, but under general riding, I seriously doubt it's going to come off unless you land just right and hit it, on the top or the bottom, causing it to pivot. Otherwise, I don't see it coming out. Like I said, it has internal cable routing. That's where the dropper goes in. And here on the other side, I got where the rear brake and derailleur cable goes in. Let's see, like I said, it's an 11-speed drivetrain, a 1x, which is how it came from the factory. So from the factory, it had a square taper bottom bracket on it. Get this piece of grass out of my derailleur. Which I started to get some creaking in that. So that's part of the reason why I swapped it out and save a little bit of weight. That'd be the second time I've ever replaced a crankset. And on the drive side here, I actually had quite a bit of a hard time trying to get that side to come loose. I even had to use a little bit of heat before it finally would pop. But which I thought was kind of odd. I mean, it wasn't cross-threaded or anything like I was thinking, but because once I got it out, all the threads were fine, and the new bottom bracket threaded in just fine. See, like I said, I got a 35 mil stem. It's, what are they, 31.8 bars? Yeah, 31.8 diameter bars. Shimano MT200 brakes, front and rear. Just a 2-piston. Resin brakes, which I've had zero issue out of, although I do believe I'm about due for a new pair. Let's see, I don't know, maybe when I replace the pair I might go up to the same brakes I have on my stump jumper. They're 6100 series 4-piston. In the end, since I don't ride this that much anymore, I may just leave it 2-piston and just keep putting the same ones in it. I did convert this over to tubeless. Let's see. The stems are stands. If I remember right, they're stands. Was it stands no tubes or something like that? And then orange seal sealant. I'm not sure if I like that or not. I'm new to tubeless tires, but I know sitting I do lose air. I know over time, even with tubes, you're going to lose air, but it does seem to bleed out faster on this. Like I said, I'm new to tubeless, so I don't know if I just didn't do something right, because I know when I converted it over, I was kind of in a rush, so I may not have got it sealed properly. But, I mean, they don't go flat. It's just, like if I rode just this past weekend, and I don't know, about a month later, I got to put air in it before I can ride, because it's dropped down from my, well, basically it's dropped 7 pounds. So I run 27 pounds in front and rear. Let's see. Like I said, RockShox Judy speech impediment today. Lockout and compression, which I believe in this case is just slow speed, and then re-down dampening all the way down here on the bottom underneath. There's like a little plastic key, which that I'm not too fond of. I know when I was looking at this, either I overlooked it or missed it, but these are the 9mm quick release on the front, and I think it's a 10mm quick release on the rear. I thought they were through axle, but apparently they're not. My only other complaint that I got, though, because of being quick release, it's a straight steer, inch and an eighth, which limits the type of forks I can get, or what brand of forks I can get, because I want to go to a little more travel up front, just for the added security. The rear hubs, they're formula hubs. I'm not sure how to describe them. In this case, there's not a whole lot of noise out of the rear one. You just hear some real faint ticking. But as far as engagement, geez. Yeah, not sure how to describe it other than disgusting. There's been a few times that I've had to backstroke or backpedal, whatever they call it, where you got a ratcheting. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. And it felt like I had to go half a revolution just to get it to re-engage. I mean, that's an exaggeration, obviously, but I do have a new hub. I just gotta pull this wheel off and get it in, because I've never restrung wheels or anything like that. From what I've seen on YouTube, it doesn't really look complicated, but you know, I can screw anything up. So I'll leave that to the professionals. Trying to think here. I kind of decided to do this video at the last second, so I'm worse prepared than what I normally am. What else do I have on here? Shit. Air fork instead of coil. Without putting my shock pump on there, I can't tell you how much I have in there, but I got like 20% sag, I think is what I'm running, 20 or 30. I don't remember 100%. Ride-wise, it's actually really not too bad. It's not, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've never bottomed it out, but then again, I don't do too many jumps, just because where I'm at, there's not much to jump. It's pretty flat in this area of the state. I'd have to go south, go to southern Indiana to get anything worthwhile for like downhill or anything like that. There's a few places up here where there's decent trails, but they're more, I guess, flow trails with a little tech thrown in here and there. Nothing serious. I know there's some trails not too far from where I work at, about 5 minutes away. It's mostly flow, but they got a few sections there where it'll keep you on your toes. I know going northwest from where I live, they got some more technical trails that direction. Like I said, go south down to Brown County. As far as I know, the most technical trails we got there is what's down there in Brown County State Park. I won't drive that far. I mean, because I don't like Indy. I avoid it as much as possible. Even though it's the state capital. What else do I have here? As far as installing the dropper, that was actually pretty simple. It just took me a little bit to figure out where the cable would come back up into the seat tube, which is right there. Actually, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but there's a little like slit, for lack of a better word, on the down tube here, where the cables come through and then they feed towards the back, or in the case of the dropper, feeds up into the seat tube there. Never installed a dropper post before, so that was a little bit of a learning curve, which in a way I kind of had to do it twice because I didn't do it right the first time. I had a little too much of the cable itself, so I had to take some of that out and do a little readjusting, and now it actually works really good. So, which my suggestion to people that's considering putting a dropper post on their bikes, if they don't have one, is to do it. If you got internal cable routing, take your time, watch plenty of videos. I wasn't in a hurry. I don't always have a lot of free time, so usually when I do something, I kind of got to hustle through it. Well, old camera. So that's usually when I make my mistakes. What else do I have on here? Actually, these are specialized grips. These grips that are on here was actually on the stump jumper, and I did have bond triggers on this one, so I just swapped those out because I like to feel the bond triggers a little better than specialized. I know I have a problem with my hands going numb, partly due to carpal tunnel because I've done apparently too much stupid stuff. Still ain't learned. I know with putting this shorter stem on there, when I went out riding, my hands didn't start getting numb till right there at the end of the ride. So I think I just need to go with bars that have a little more rise to them because these are fairly flat. There's, if I remember right from the specs, 7 degrees. It's either a 7-degree back sweep or a 7-degree rise. I'm going to say back sweep because these look pretty flat to me. Let's see. Let me grab this real quick. Yeah. I know with the shifter, I actually just learned something new late last year. Whenever I would do my shifting, I would always use my finger and pull backwards. Well, I found out last year I was doing something, I happened to bump it, and I can shift by pushing forward too, which it's a benefit because it's actually a little easier because then my thumb, for both going up and down, is in the same spot. Not that it really mattered. I guess whichever's easier for individual person. Just being a cheap, not really a high-end shifter, I didn't ever expect I'd be able to upshift by pushing forward. I just figured I had to keep, using my pointer finger to get it to shift, which, like I said, was no big deal. I just thought it was neat. What else? Like I said, I'm super ill prepared for this one because it was a last-second decision to do this. Oh yeah, the derailleur is actually a clutch derailleur. Being a clutch derailleur, it's meant to help kind of reduce chain slap and help lessen the chance of your chain popping off. Per my understanding, I could be completely wrong on that, but the way I understand it, that's kind of the main point behind it, is to reduce how much movement the chain itself gets. I've ran it both with the clutch on and off, and personally I haven't noticed a difference in chain slap or anything like that. I usually just leave it on, unless I'm messing with it. Then I'll turn it off. Like if I'm holding the rear wheel off, I'll flip it off so I can move the cage a little easier. And that's usually why I forget to turn it back on. So I'm not used to that. I'm used to old style where the only clutch was your fingers holding it in place. Let's see. The only thing I've had to do maintenance-wise on this, besides wash it off, I did finally have to adjust the shifting because I got enough stretch in the cable, which I think I just ended up spinning the barrel like 4 clicks, 3 clicks, 2 clicks. I don't know, it wasn't very much, and went back to shifting just the way it was when I first got it. When I bought this, it was listed for $11.50, and then you have tax. So I think I got it for just over $1,200 out the door. Like I said, it came with tubes. I didn't have it converted to tubeless at the time. I did that later on. Like I said, Indiana has a 7% sales tax, so $11.50 times 7%. That's what I paid. I know at least in my area, like I said, we're pretty flat up here. These tires aren't bad, but you do kind of got to watch your speed, because most of the curves here are fairly flat, so washing out's pretty simple. But grip-wise, on dry ground, they're actually really good. But if you get to anything where it's even a little bit muddy, it'd be just like driving on ice, and these tires just spin. I know the ones on my stump jumper, they dig in a little better and get you through the slop a little easier. What else do I have? That's all I can think of offhand. I know I got some videos of me riding. I'll edit those in here somewhere. I'm not sure where yet. I might put some at the beginning, in the middle, in the end, I don't know. Other than that, that's all I can think of. Like I said, this was just kind of a last second idea to do this one. I actually had some free time and some peace and quiet. The wife took the daughter to dance, so it's nice and quiet. Got a 10-year-old and an adult that like to argue, and the 10-year-old usually wins. Like minds. Wife and daughter have the exact same attitude. Both of them have to have the last word. Let's see, anything else I can think of offhand? If you're curious, valve caps, I actually got those off of eBay, just for something different. The bike itself is what they call sage and moss green. I call it olive drab. Just for a little bit, for something just a little bit different, I decided to put bright green valve caps on there. I think I picked up a pack of like 5 different colors for like $5. Yeah, Amazon's both a blessing and a curse. They got some neat stuff on there, and they got some that'll make you spend money. Same place I got the bike stand. I got that off of Amazon. I'll have my establish it straight one of these days, which actually I'm pretty happy with. I'll have to do once I find out the brand, because it's a Chinese brand, I'll have to do a review on that, because like I said, overall I'm pretty happy with it. It's turned out better than I was expecting. Well, I guess before I keep rambling too much and not making any sense at all, I'll go ahead and call this one quits. So I appreciate you watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, have a good one. Yeah.